Now I can tell you how I know you were born for greatness. You were, and you were supposed to experience it now, and you're supposed to have this really great life where you're having everything that was designed for you to have. And you might look at your life and the world now and think that that is not possible or it's not happening. And I'm going to say, no, that's not correct because we're moving through a very big dynamic change in our world. And it's been stressful for a lot of people. And you could have been afraid, you could have been nervous, but it's energetic changes that we're moving through. And when you understand them, then you start to live the life you're meant to have and you begin to heal, and then you give that to the world. Now, there are many things that we will not believe about things that happen in the world. In 1989, I sat down and I thought, I heard about this automatic writing thing. And I said, I'm going to try that because I was really searching. I'd gone through so many things in my life, and I'm searching for some sort of an answer, a way forward. After a few days, something happened. This, it's like information started coming through. I made some connection that I couldn't understand. Didn't know what it was, and it frightened me as well. I've talked about that, and I'm going to talk more about it because you may have that when you awaken to finally hearing yourself. It can be a little surprising in whatever form that might come through, because we all have it. There, you have that what you hear in your consciousness, or that still small voice, which hopefully more people would think of that one, because see, that's telling you that you're connected to something greater than you have known. And I do know that now, but it took a long time and I struggled to find it. I struggled to believe it. And you will find that the only difficulty you will experience in your life is believe in yourself, because it's something new that's opening up. And that's what happened for me. And I'll tell you a little timeline because I want everyone to understand you can accomplish anything. Everything is possible. Whenever we come into the world, we're limited in what we understand and what we know or what we can achieve. Because if a human hasn't done it yet, we don't believe it's possible. And for years, I've been speaking about the work that I've received from Wilhelm, and I'm saying it is possible because it healed me. How did that happen? It was because I had to work with my consciousness and I had to move through all the doubts, all the fears, all the generational trauma that was within me. And everyone has that. We don't come into the world just free and clear and all that. There may be some people, but you probably haven't met them. Every single person is moving through a journey of self acceptance. And it's going to be unique and it's different for you. But then what happens is the world changes as well, and it could be more stressful. And that's what's happened now. But I was given this information, and that was really difficult because I was able to access consciousness from a different time. And then the thing that made it really challenging for me to accept was that it was really organized with what was happening in the world. And thankfully, we've developed artificial intelligence so we can get more validation of things, and that's what I've done. But I put together something else for you because I want you to know what you can achieve, because it's always in front of you. And I know you can do it because I was given this path. I was talking about this and saying it's Wilhelm's philosophy. I didn't create this. When you read the messages, it's you're going to find it very difficult to believe that somehow I just sat down and made all of this up. I couldn't. And actually, when I was receiving that information, I didn't want to tell anyone, and I hid it for 20 years. Said they're not going to believe this. And that's what you'll see in one of the messages that I'm putting out, because years ago they said, "Oh, well, they're just not going to believe you." And then we look at the world, and I said, "Oh, wait a minute, now they should, because we're changing, we're evolving." But what happens is we become afraid, and so then we start to become subservient to everyone else around us. But that's a general thing, and that's what's happening in our world. And so you're going to decide whether or not you're going to love yourself or if you're going to remain in fear, because those are the only choices that we have throughout life, but especially during this time in our world. I've created several documents which I will leave in this description of this video so that you will understand exactly what's going on. But I have one that I want to show you now, because again, this is I'm recording this on February 16th, and I said, let me look at February 17th. I want you to understand there's an order in the universe, and that's what I tapped into. And when I was told that I was given a message in 2012, if I were to meet someone on their birthday, that made no sense to me until it started happening. Because it was saying everybody has an energetic connection. The law of attraction is real. We'll get the things that we need if we believe that. But belief is the thing that takes us a while. It's not just you, it's all of us. Because again, in consciousness, we have to say, is this possible? Can we do this? And I've seen things that I have thought before were not possible, but I know that this with this work, they became possible. And that's what I'm going to leave you with. Because you'll work with it on your own and you'll see that you'll just read things and just see how it changes you. The only thing you have to work with is your consciousness. And so let me show you this first, and I'm going to give you the way that this kind of started so that you get a better sense of it. I just want people to know that you're never limited. It's just in our consciousness. It's just in our thinking, and that's the thing we have to break free from. So what I did was I took the messages for tomorrow, on February 17th, and put them together. I'm always instructed what would be the most beneficial because there's an energetic connection, which I had no clue was coming through me. But you will have this so you can go through it. We think things are happening accidentally, but there's an energetic connection that we figure out, and there's also science that as humans we keep discovering. We haven't finished completing who we could become. We haven't finished developing consciousness. So accepting that we have these different ways of doing it and accepting that this came through me was really challenging. But what happens is it heals you. And that's what I'm devoting the rest of my life to, putting this together. So I just did this. I've done several of these because when I discovered that there was this synchronicity that I had received, I I have to give people this. And so you will understand all of the messages and what we all move through. And it's the first one. You came here to be you. We struggle with that throughout our entire lives. That's why self-discovery, as I said in another video, is your superpower. You see, because that's why you were born. That's what you were meant to live out. But we have all the other programming, and that's why we have to work through it, and we need a way to do that. Um, and then the Get Judgment Guild, all of these things are what Wilhelm gave me over the years. And you'll see every single part is there, and it heals every aspect of your life. And it causes you to be that successful person that you want to become. Because when you don't get in touch with who you are, then the rest of it doesn't work. And I know this because I was trying to do everything else under the sun except this. And that's an odd thing for you to think about, but most people will just kind of run from their gifts or what they came to offer because we don't like doing self discovery. We don't want to look inside, except that's why we were born, is to understand all of that. But you will get it through this. But there's another thing I want to show you too. And it's like, why would I have been given something? Why would the world look the way that it does? And Wilhelm said that because these energetic changes were happening, we were going to go through a really difficult time. And because they had been giving me this information all these years, it would allow others to heal and a collective healing in the world. That made no sense to me, except I went back and I found the very first message that I had and put them all together. And that's what came out was that this is what they have given us is something that could change your life, transform you into understanding who you are and just really moving through all the doubts and blockages that have been there and to do something wonderful in the world. And then you imagine that more people start doing that, then the world changes. It's not going to happen tomorrow, but you can't worry about that. You have to decide about you because that's where we are. It's going to be a little stressful for a lot of people because the energies will keep changing. And so you've got to decide you're going to love yourself because that is the most important thing that you have to do, and it's the only reason you were born. I have many description in this video description because next week after Tuesday I'm changing so much more, so I do want everyone to see it now, but I'm going to start spending the rest of my life, I'm 74, so I have to do it now, putting all this work together because I have like 36 years and I'm going to leave it with folks, and whoever uses it, you will become this brilliant person. See, there's no limit to what you can achieve. Except it's you just got to be willing to work with your consciousness. And everyone has it. We may think that we have these limited consciousness. I thought that. And then we think something's wrong with us. That's never true either. When I discovered this came out the other day, I discovered when I was told I had ADHD when I was 70. That didn't make any sense. And they said, well, yeah, it did, because that's how I could receive all of this information. I had to go back and study other people who had created great things who had this kind of thing and I couldn't figure it out. Now I'm figuring out, well, am I savant as well? Because that's the other thing that came through in the channeling session. And I'm like, I don't know. How could that happen? But see, we keep doing discovery and we will have more. But I want you to have this. But there's one other thing to explain this and why it would have come about now. I did two things. I'll leave them in the description, but this one I want to show you. When I began doing channeling sessions, Wilhelm would continually say that we've given you something that could change your life and world. That made no sense to me either. Except I started understanding that they're energetic connections that happen and they're really connected to different places in the world at different times when our world is evolving. This particular time, which was a big move, it was the United States. This is why we had all the chaos, why you're seeing all the disruption, everything that's going on. Wilhelm said this is what we would be moving through, but there's a reason for it. And when you understand it and what you're meant to do by embodying yourself and owning who you are, then things change. There is no reason for you to feel small, for feel less than any other person, but this is what this philosophy was meant to bring to all of us at this time. And we had all kinds of inequalities, and you see that going on. But we are the ones who must decide that we're going to become our best self, abundant and prosperous, loving ourselves and changing the energy of the world because that's what happens. And so I also got led to a whole bunch of other studies scientifically, which I put up in presentations, and I'd love for you to have that. But the bottom line is this: now you have no reason not to live your best life and become hugely successful. Because with this work, you just keep working on it on yourself. And that's what happened for me, and it healed me. You just decide how far you want to go. That's all that it is. Because once you move through your fear, your doubt, and your judgment of yourself, because that's generational stuff as well, then you start to get it. And I'm so thrilled that this is here and that I can do it now. And that's what I'm doing next week. So I just want you to I spent the last few months putting things out as I was discovering what I had, which is why I was holding back from everything because the bulk of this discovery was really surprising. But I'm saying this because that could happen to you. You're going to, when we move through an evolutionary change in our world, it's everybody's affected, and you could come up with something you never knew you had. That's just what I did, but now it's beneficial to everyone. You have that as well, which is why I know your worth and value and that you came to offer something. In 2021, just so you get this, I was told through my guide that I was given this work and I had this stuff from 2012 that would change everyone. That's not possible, I thought. I put people in that program and then I was just astonished at what they did. But then I stopped myself too because you can self-sabotage by becoming too successful. That thing about being fearful of success, that's real. How are you going to handle that? You've never thought that way before. That's what I had to look at because I started seeing, wait a minute, when I was doing live channeling, I knew I could answer anyone's question because Wilhelm had given me all this information. And so I knew it was in this work that I had written out, and it showed up by me being healed, and then it started working on everyone else. But then I saw, wait a minute, we need to up things now because the world is going, it's a little chaotic. That means we need to come together and love ourselves and come together more and raise our energies. And that means doing what we came to do. What I came to do is to bring in this work. And that's what I'm going to do because I just want to see so many more people knowing who they are, loving themselves, becoming prosperous, abundant, because that's the guy I've always been. Please enjoy all of this. Check out the work, the program, subscribe to the channel. You're here for greatness. Trust me. See you soon.